Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and this is the last video of the day, and this is the special video that I'll be going for you. As I said, I'll be going over some of the people that are in California and some of the other things that will maybe pertaining. So I probably won't be going over the stuff that I wanted to go over in this video. Today because I think this video is going to be long enough as it is. So what I'll do, I'll wait till tomorrow and I'll release that for at least an extra content, maybe get 4 videos again tomorrow, so that way you guys kind of see what's been going on between the back and forth. I do want to release those videos, but this video is going to be long as it is. Okay, without further ado, let's get directly into this because this might be a hefty one. Now, I'm not going to say this is going to be like 40 minutes. I'll try to get through this as much as possible, but it's kind of like a big deal in this sense. Alright, so as of right now, I have my voting ballot here. Alright? So, I'm obviously not going to show this for obviously confidential information and shit like that. And all that great news. But, what I will do is go over this list of you of the official ballot of what's going on and stuff like that particularly. Now, this is obviously very public stuff, so this is not violating any law or anything, and I'm not showing you my actual bloody ballot that I voted or what have you, or any violating of that stupid stuff. But this is going over exactly who is what and who is where, because this is kind of like what I got documented. All right, so we have for the controller. The 2 people are Malia M. Cohen, and we have Lonnie J. Chen. Now, this is kind of what we have. I have for these 2 people here, and I will go over it with you guys. So, here's the problem with some of these people is that there's a lot of information that's just not on these people at all, which just got me slightly concerned. So I try to get all the information that I can. The biggest problem was issues were not necessarily finding them, but well, I guess today would be finding them because it's just find the correct information. So these people were very difficult to get to, but we have here is that Malia Cohen serves as the chair of the California State Board of Equalization, BOE, California's elected tax commission. She was elected to the BOE in November 2018, served as chair in 2019, and re-elected chair for 2022, and is the first African American woman to serve on the board. See, the one thing that I have here is that the first African American woman to serve on the board. This I really just don't care for, alright? I don't care if you're the first black man, the first fish, or the first cat to be served. This point has nothing to do with what I care for. So that's kind of like whatever I have. The whole thing is like, oh, I'm the first this, I don't care. What I care is if you're good for the job or not. And if that so be the case, then that so be the case. As the BOE board member for District 2, she represents 10 million constituents living in all parts of 23 countries, extending from Del Norte County in the north to Santa Barbara County in the south. In January 2019, her BOE board member colleagues unanimously selected her to serve as chair of the board. A strong advocate for social justice and inclusion. Here's the 2 key red words here: justice and inclusion. And board chair pledges to ensure that the views of all who come before the board of equalization are considered carefully with respect, civility, and courtesy. She further comments to elaborate with her colleagues to guarantee that all actions of the BOE are open, transparent, and above reproach. So I won't be going through these entire things because I think this video would be way too long if I did that. So what I'm going to do is that she does this stuff, and I'll go into the kind of the bigger issues that pertains to these people, because I think that will make the video a bit shorter in the long run. It goes on to say that protect public health, foster economic development, promote new affordable housing, and that create good jobs through protecting and expanding our manufacturing base. So, that being said, let's get into this other stuff. Now, we have building a better future. We're going to go with the issues that she addresses. So, here's the thing. The reason why I go into the issues is because going into the issues kind of really addresses on what type of person they are, and their Twitter even helps even more immensely because the people who they retweet or the people that they message kind of gives an idea on what they are, and it's really important to get this out of the way. So I didn't really do this for this particular person. Now, again, Some of these people I also voted for specifically because of the mere fact I voted for them because, well, they actually gave more of an actual detailed analogy or what have you to what they were going to plan to be doing rather than anything else. So if they're not going to tell me exactly what their plans are, or if I can't find exactly what they want to do, then obviously I'm going to vote the person that actually is going to direct what they're going to do rather than somebody that giving me a direct information on what. So she says it's going to be addressing California's housing crisis, retirement security, and an economy that works for all Californians. And then expanding affordable health care, which is healthcare is a right and Amelia will fight to expand access and lower costs for all Californians. On the board of supervisors, she led the effort to pass the sugar-sweetened beverage tax and use funding from the measure to expand access to healthcare to more San Francisco residents. As controller, Amelia will expand access to more people and demand greater accountability around prescription drug prices so that no one has to choose between their medicine and basic necessities. Reproductive health care is under attack. Of course, she's going to be doing stuff like this as a Democrat. Miller will fight to protect it. She wrote the Pregnancy Information Disclosure and Protection Ordinance, which prohibits crisis pregnancy centers and the city from making false or misleading statements about their services. So, there we go. Equal rights for all, which is, Amelia has to take a long track record of standing for the LGBTQ plus community. On the board of supervisors, she led the effort to expand transition age youth services in the city, working to ensure more health care and mental care is available to LGBTQ youth. She also supported the first transgender bathroom legislation and supported gender reassignment surgeries as part of Healthy SF and the city's universal health care program. So, there you have it, folks. There's the big key here, which is our reason why I wouldn't be voting for her in the first place here for the bathrooms and stuff like that. She's actively ruining your sports, and this woman is also making the bathrooms more dangerous for your children as well. So, there you have it. I don't need to say very much further on that. Action on gun violence and violence against women. Malia led the effort to pass tougher regulations on lethal ammunition and high-capacity firearm magazines. The legislation helped close several loopholes in city regulation. So, there you go. She's also going after the Second Amendment. Not too surprising there. So, you can see why I wouldn't be voting for this person. Now, we have Lun Hee Chin. Now, I don't know, he's supposed to be some type of, I guess, Republican, but I don't know. Again, I don't see much to him, to be honest, either. I don't think either of these guys are really the best candidates. I think he's slightly better than this woman here, than Maria's economic agenda, but there's not much to him. There's this stuff here with his credentials. Great. His experience is great. To be honest, guys, I'm not a huge person on reading credentials in general. So, what have you. Again, just not much here either for this guy. So, I voted for him, but there's not much to put it. I personally think that he might have been slightly better than the girl, because she wants the trans rights type stuff, and I am not for that. And what I mean by trans rights is that I don't really want trans people to be in the bathrooms of the opposite sex, because I think that's wrong. First off, and also on top of that, of wanting them to be in sports and compete against women, etc., and have women lose their sports, because I don't think that's okay either. So I digress. I really just don't want that type of stuff. So there wasn't too much on this guy in general. So I kind of went with my gut feeling and thinking that he may be a bit better than the opposition. As again, there's nothing to really do. I mean, it says join our team and stuff like that, but not too much here. Let's get into the next guy. So we have Jack Guerrero. Well, so we have some things here. So Jack Guerrero, there's not too much about him either, and that's kind of the problem that I have. I did watch some of his speech, which seems to be okay. Here's Nick Okada here, and I don't see too much about him. So a lot of them say they're unafraid to challenge the status quo, but again, a lot of them say that, so I'm not really too worried about that. The one thing I'm worried and concerned is what he's going to do and help, what his political ideology is, and again, there's not much to this guy. So there you have it. There's just this past experience here. So pretty difficult, I'd say so myself, to really see who would be the best for this. But his opposition is what we call Fiona Ma, and she has all this other stuff that's pretty crazy. Now, I have this stuff here, obviously. So this is for Canada for future. We may go through it a little bit, but I think the biggest thing here, other than all this stuff, because that's her Twitter stuff, and just kind of idea what it is. She seems a lot more active and on the Facebook stuff than our little buddy Jack. But the things that I found questioning about her wasn't necessarily this. Is that one? It was the Planned Parenthood which really kind of tipped me off a little bit. Not ticked, but tipped. And this here, which is probably the biggest thing that made me vote against her, specifically because it gives us kind of the yes or no questionnaire on what she supports, which is the biggest deal. So I'll go over this with you guys. Are you registered to vote as a Democrat? She says yes, which is no big deal. Have you ever run for elected office before? Yes. Do you have a campaign consultant? If so, yes. If you have ever sought the American Club? Yes. Do you in LGBTQ plus issues? This is where it really hits home with for me, because again, I don't have problems with LGBTQ plus people in general when they're talking about 18 plus. But when we're talking about kids and other things that are coming into portray, I have a huge problem. And normally when you put LGBTQ plus, it's really hard to differentiate between the actual trans movement and the whole issues that it's having on the society in general. And I want to make a difference at some point. Not saying this is ever going to fucking happen in California, because, well, guess what? It's California. Do you fully support same-sex marriage equality? She said yes, which I also agree with, by the way. I also agree with having same-sex marriage. I would even go as far as to say that it should be allowed in church, because I don't think that that should really be an issue, but I guess it is for some people. I don't really have a problem with that, but there are people that do. It says, do you support anti-discrimination laws for lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender people? Again, I would also warrant this as well. I would not be against anti-discrimination. I don't think anybody of any class should be discriminated against at all, period. I think transgender people are discriminated against in different ways than they think, and I don't think it's really discrimination for transgender people, because what the transgender people are trying to ask are for things that are completely asinine and completely out of the woodworks. So I don't really agree with that. It says, do you support including transgender health benefits in covered California health plans? This is where I have a bigger issue, because when you say support transgender health benefits in covered California health plans, it pretty much means trans surgery and all that other stuff, which I am vehemently against, and trans surgery in the sense of kids, and I don't want that. So I did not vote for that's a huge thing for me. And even though she agrees with the two of the issues that I actually agree upon, I do not agree with this one. It says, do you support public funding for employment development for transgender individuals? So again, I think this one is not really bad either. Public funding for employment. I don't think they really need to have that, to be honest. And I'll explain why. The reason why I don't think that transgender people really need that in particular is because of the mere fact that I don't think we discriminate against transgender people at all in that sense, in terms of actual money or having be able to job employment. But if it is on the table, I don't really disagree with that either. I will disagree with other things that the transgender community would want. Tenant housing and development issues. Do you support rent control? She says yes. Have you ever been involved as a homeowner, buyer, or agent? Kind of whatever. So this is for racial and immigration justices. Do you support driver's license for undocumented persons? This is what I disagree with, because I think you have to be a documented person to have a driver's license. I'm sorry, but I think that's a big deal to me. Do you support local entities allowing non-citizens to vote in local elections, including but not limited to school board? She actually agrees with me. She says no on that, which is honestly a good thing. Do you support protection of due process for immigrant youth accused of crime? I would also agree with that. And do you support the Dream Act? Actually, I'll be honest here with you guys. I'm not quite sure what the Dream Act is, so I'll stay impartial from that one. Do you support capital punishment? I think everybody does. Do you support support the criminalization of sex work? And she does. I would also probably agree with that. I don't really care. Do your deed. Do whatever you want. Doesn't mean you are not being able from being criticized from it, which we kind of want to get rid of all women from being judged on their sex work. All right, so I mean, do it, but expect to get criticized for it, and rightfully so. Do you support 35 and each other or the endorser? She says yes. Again, a little bit ignorant on Prop 35, so I will sustain from that. Do you support San Leo's 2013 bill, or at least the concept to allow localities to allow bars to serve liquor until 4 a.m.? She says yes. Do you support reducing simple drug possession from a felony to a misdemeanor? This is a big problem that I have. Because I don't, because it depends on what drug they're meaning. They say simple drug possession, which I would assume that may be marijuana, but again, they're not being very transparent on what that actually means. I disagree with this if it has anything to do with if it has anything to do with hardcore drugs, because I don't think we're ready for any sort of that type of deal at all for having drug possession being a not being a felony. And I think we've seen it from, I may believe, Oregon, to where there's a massive drug problem and it's actually caused more problems, more people dying from amphetamine and stuff like that than anything. So yeah. This has been blanked. Do you support women's right to choose and access safe and illegal abortion under all circumstances? This is another one that I disagree with. I don't think women should have the ability to abort a child unless there's also circumstances such as the fetus or baby is killing the mother, or potential of the grape. So yeah. Have you ever crossed a union picket or violated a union boycott? Blah 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 blah. So all this stuff is, do you support AB 26 for rights for transgender students? Again, I don't really agree with that. I don't agree with the Common Core standards either, because I think that's really hurting a lot of students in general, whereas forcing students to learn a specific only one way rather than students learning completely different ways. I don't really agree with that. Do you support lowering the threshold to pass local parcel tax for education to 55%? She said yes. I'm a bit impartial on that one, but So do you support California's high-speed rail plans lead effort to pass? And she says yes. I'm also impartial about that. It depends on how bad it hurts the actual community in general. But again, part of the two biggest reasons why I didn't want to vote for this person in particular is this one here, which was a massive one. And then I may believe the abortion one was another massive one, and all that. So that kind of really made me want to vote for the other side, because again, if you want to protect children, you need to eliminate all people that are actively trying to harm them in any way possible. So this is for Attorney General. So this is a lot more important than I want to say than some of the others, to be perfectly honest with you, because Attorney General really puts the criminals away. And I don't think we had to do too much more with the Nathan guy, because this is obviously the Republican here, and he says, fentanyl is 50 more times more powerful than heroin and 100 times more powerful than morphine. As Attorney General, Nathan will work to get fentanyl off the streets and hold accountable those who have spread this poison throughout our communities. Crime. Violent crime is on the rise in California due to early release policies that have let criminals off the hook. As Attorney General, Nathan will be a leader in keeping our families' businesses, and communities safe. He will put politics aside and public safety first. Homelessness. Yes, California has around 60,000 homeless people. It's not good. So I do think it needs to be addressed. The number of Californians experiencing homelessness has exploded over the last decade, which is why Nathan will prioritize compassionate solutions to give people in the mental health and substance abuse resources they need while keeping our streets safe and clean. This may need to go a little bit in depth more, because I kind of have to understand what he means by compassionate type method. So we'll have to see more on that one. California is the #1 state in the nation for human trafficking. This multi-billion-dollar industry traps thousands of Californians in modern-day slavery. Nathan has a plan to coordinate to station statewide prosecution, seize assets, and bring human traffickers to justice. All right. So these two are self-explanatory. So he's going to do it. So we do need to learn more on what he wants to do and whatnot, which we'll probably go into a bit. So, this is for Rob Bonta. This is the Democratic Attorney General here in California, and one way he wants to do is stopping gun violence, which is, the #1 issue here, I would say, with these Democratic people. They always want to step on the Second Amendment as much as possible. Attorney General Bonta is defending California's first-class gun safety laws, like the assault weapons ban from attacks by the NRA and the gun lobbying. Yeah, see, immediately going after our rights, Second Amendment rights, mind you. Go figure. As states across this country saw increased gun violence during the pandemic, Attorney General Bonta's department is expanding programs that bring community leaders, law enforcement, and youth together to interrupt gang violence, but before it causes gun deaths. He's expanding the use of gun violence and restraining orders that take guns away from people with historic of domestic abuse and those who are prohibited from owning them. That part I actually agree with, but the assault weapons ban is what I don't agree with, and I honestly think you're going to go more after our weapons than actually not. So you're losing there. Fighting hate and protecting our civil rights. By size alone, California's Department of Justice is the country's largest civil rights practice. He will strongly reinforce California's civil rights code and fight for racial justice and equity. As hate crimes rise across California, he will take on the force of hate and build bridges between law enforcement and targeted communities. Kind of hard for you to do that when your active Democratic Party is defunding the police, but I digress. Stopping transnational criminal organizations and helping victims of crime. Attorney General Bonta is taking on the transnational criminal organizations that traffic in guns, drugs, and people. A longtime advocate for crime victims, he is working with law enforcement to expand programs that support victims of crime. He is increasing resources to clear the rape case backlog at law enforcement agencies across the state, and Attorney General Bonta is expanding human trafficking and the sexual predator response on units across the state. So, that's what he's doing here. Protecting healthcare and reproductive freedom. Again, he's wanting to, protect the abortion stuff. So I'm not ready for that. I don't think he actively says abortion here too, by the way. So I want to make that perfectly here. But he is saying at a moment when our reproductive health care is under attack, Attorney General is defending California's law that ensure every woman has access to reproductive health care, which obviously you have to understand that also means abortion and, of course, contraceptives, which was never banned in the first place. Attorney General Bonta believes that we need to infuse more safety and fairness into our justice system. So I'm not quite sure what that means, other than, he strongly believes that our justice system should be free from bias and treat everyone fairly. And under his watch, the Department of Justice has increased transparency and sought to make our justice system more accountable to the people it serves. Which, again, I don't think really counts as much if you're going to go after Republicans or conservatives in general in this type of way. Sending to powerful interests who cheat consumers, justice for workers and tackling the underground economy, taking on big polluters, which, by the way, is a huge problem because if you start doing that, you're going to cause a massive problem in California in general. So, of course, chemical change and standing up for immigrant communities. So, we have that with Rob Bonta. And then a bigger thing here is that he has vote Democrat to protect and defend your rights and freedoms. The right to choose, the freedom to marry who you love, the right to live safe from gun violence, and the freedom to vote without suppression or intimidation, the right to be your full, complete, and beautiful LGBTQ+ self. And this person actually ended up criticizing this man. And a lot of people are going after him, which I don't think he's getting them all the support that he actually wants. Because it says, Jennifer M. Edwards goes on to say, I plan to vote Democrat, but you and your office severely let me down when I needed your help. The AG office, a big disappointment for my medical career. Now I'm homeless, living in my car because HIK was a big letdown. So, it doesn't seem that they did very good to Miss Jennifer here. And that's a problem. Voted Republican all the way down. California's not the same place I grew up in. At LMAO. Dems are the party to preserve freedoms and safety. Hot take, Robbie. Damn, Rob's doubling down on the pedophile vote. as he is. How's that investigation going on to the LA supervisor? Oh, wait, never mind. Same old crap the demanded Dems have been saying for years, and look at how much California has gone down the toilet. We need real change, not a bunch of gaslighting straight Republican. Getting roasted here. You're not doing so hot. You're not doing great. You're getting kind of roasted. It doesn't seem good for you. All right, so. And I don't think this guy here has really a Twitter account. There's ways to contact here. Yeah, there's contact, but I don't think this man in particular has a Twitter account. So that being said, it's a bit difficult to really contact this man. We could probably go here and see what the learn more is. So yeah. This is kind of what he has here, and whatnot, and it's a bit. He wants to pass SB 10042 and designate human trafficking a violent and serious felony, coordinate statewide prosecutions. So and utilize 3 asset for official law to seize property from human traffickers. So, and 4, implement a statewide education campaign on human trafficking prevention. So, I won't go into all of it because I'm already deep into this. But this is kind of like what's been going on and what he wants to do, and all that great stuff. So, yeah, I think the other guy may be the perfect choice for this because he seems to be less insane and more on things. And I think he had it better laid out than the other guy, in my personal opinion. But that's just me. But again, I won't judge people for that for how well it's laid out. I kind of just want what your policies are, what do you believe, how you're going to fix stuff. I don't want these non-answering questions and stuff like that. That doesn't really matter. Responding to COVID-19, directed insurance companies to provide premium relief to drivers and business due to reduced risk of loss, leading to cost savings at $175 billion counting. Blah 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 blah. So what have you? Climate risk, which is not the greatest. I don't think climate is really our biggest problem here, to be honest with you. I think it's a lot to do with how the state is being ran and how we're dealing with PG&E, because I think PG&E is also a huge, massive front on this issue. It goes on to wildfires. Yeah, we have California's having a lot of wildfires, but I think that's a lot to do with the forest industry and not clearing enough things away and not really getting rid of trees that have to be get rid of, like dead trees, etc., etc. I think that's part of the reason why you have so many wildfires and too many trees are protected, and that needs to be dealt with. Healthcare and equity, and so again, this is questionable to me because I'm not quite sure what we mean by healthcare and equity, and I may believe I also have something up here as well that kind of questions on what he means by healthcare and equity here. Authored a legislation that would create a single-player healthcare system for California, wrote the Health for All Kids Act, which was signed into law and now covers all California children with full-scope Medi-Cal. Sponsored in the Equal HIV Act by Governor Newsom, and this is the big one here, I think. Sponsored legislation signed by Governor Newsom in 2018 to extend the Department of Insurance Diversity Initiative and expand it to include LGBT and veteran-owned businesses, which a bit concerning. I don't mind if, by the way, I don't mind if LGBTQ plus people have businesses. That's not really a big problem to me. Do what you will, take advantage of what you can. Just the healthcare, I'm more concerned about because that is a bigger issue, I think. So we have this is also Ricardo Lara. He has recovering from natural disasters and resisting climate change, protecting Californians from fraud, embracing technology, expanding it to healthcare, ensuring a fair insurance market. But here's a bigger problem that we have with this. Commissioner Lara takes action to expand culturally competent healthcare access to LGBT plus Californians, which is the biggest problem that I have here when we sing this about healthcare. So that's part of the biggest reason why I didn't want to vote for this guy, because when you have stuff like this makes it really concerning. Now, I'm not going to go through all of this because, again, there's a big issue. But, yeah, I don't think that's great. But this is the opposition, Robert Hallwell, which seems to be doing this. So now it goes unaffordable living. Hundreds of thousands of people are fleeing the California state due to the high cost of living and a broken, unresponsive state bureaucracy, California wildfires, and then insurance rights and whatnot. So now this is not too great because this doesn't really show a lot, but it kind of gives us kind of an idea. Again, this guy kind of shows exactly what he's doing, but the reason why I voted for this guy is because, well, it doesn't seem like he's going to be all for that LGBTQ plus stuff that we really want, that we really want him talking about. So, yeah. So, here's one thing. So we had Jose Almatarano, which I have two of these guys' Twitters up and running, and here's the thing here. I'll go over these two, and it's really telling on why I didn't vote for this guy for a couple of reasons, and one being reason is because this doesn't explain what he's going to do. He does, Ted Gaines does, this man doesn't, and that's the reason why I'm a bit concerned, because it's like, how do I vote for you if I don't know what you're going to do? I want to thank all of you who have helped me get here. Now again, I humbly ask for you to represent you on the ask you for your vote to represent you on the board of equalization for 42 years. I have worked at the California State Compensation Insurance Fund, assisting business owners with their workers' compensation insurance needs. First as an underwriting manager, then as assistant program manager, interim VP of Customer Services Center, and most recently as the business service says operations manager. Each of those roles have taught me the special nature of public service and public trust when your taxpayer dollars are involved. I have been involved in my community as a commissioner with the city of West Sacramento, as a chair of UC Davis Health Community Advisory Board, and as a board member Sacramento Housing College. Blah blah blah. Self-sustaining. My education has an amazing journey. I'm proud of product of LA Unified District. In 1994, I graduated to Northern California, where I earned my SAS from Sterling Sierra College, and what have you. So it's talk about all his credentials. This is what I don't care for, because his credentials don't really mean anything at the end of the day, because you have great credentials, but tell me what you're going to do to fix things in the state, because we have a lot of problems. Ted Gaines goes on to say, why is California falling apart while the state is sitting on a $97 billion budget surplus? It's because Sacramento politicians care too much about government and not enough about you. I don't measure California's success by the size of the state budget. I measure it by how our families are getting by and if our businesses are adding jobs. That's why I've spent my career as your taxpayer advocate. We're going to make your lives better, not growing our government at your expense. As your watchdog at the Board of Equalization, I'll keep fighting, doing everything I can to defeat new taxes and kill wasteful projects like the high-speed rail. I'll defend Prop 13 so your property taxes don't skyrocket and seniors don't get taxed out of their homes. In fact, I earn a straight A record from Howard Jarvis Taxpayers Association every year in the legislature. I'll work to hold criminals accountable for safer schools, neighborhoods, and businesses. I'll support effective homeless policies that clean up our streets and reclaim our public spaces. And from gasoline to housing to electricity, I'll strive to make California more affordable so our citizens don't struggle to pay for life's necessities, and a fifth-generation Californian, a small business owner with children and grandchildren building their lives here too. I'm fully invested in California's future where we can prosper as so many of us did in our state's universe on Revel Pass. Join me. So, that being said, this guy has... The reason why I skimmed through this guy is because it was all about his credentials and stuff like that. I didn't care about that. This man told us exactly what's going on with California, how he's going to fix it, and a little bit of his credentials as well, where this guy was just all about his credentials and nothing more. Now, if we go on to this Juan Anarano guy, you end up finding out that immediately on... what his policies and what his minds of tweets are. He says, we work hard, play by the rules, and continue to be discriminated. While Donald Trump cheats the system. And you immediately find out exactly what his political views are and exactly what he really truly thinks. So, he will go on to have some questioning tweets as well. Some of these things, the power of the people in nature. Let's keep going. Gracias. My God, I apologize, Latinos. I feel sorry. My fault. And all this stuff. So there's not too much about it, right? So we don't see too much here, but if we go down a little bit more, we end up finding out what he really goes on to here with the Oakland. Let's see here. I did look down, and I did find some questionable things here from him. The biggest one was obviously the Trump issue that I had, where that seemed to be the bigger problem. I don't know. He seems that I don't know. Maybe I was incorrect. Maybe I was incorrect, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, good thing that stopped. But it does seem that we have some other things that to pertain to this man. I don't think this was actually the one guy that was actually retweeting. What's his face? I forgot his name. Sanders. That guy, Sanders. I forgot his name. Bernie Sanders, there we go. And it doesn't seem to be him, but this was kind of the key point here with this. So I'll stand by that at the very least. And it seems that Pharma as well. What is this one? So I put in Pharma, and I don't know why I have this selected. But, and then we have Ted Gaines, which is, kind of spelling for the election day and stuff like that. Vote for your values in California. And thanks to the Bakersfield, California for the endorsement, Gaines has proved to be an experienced member of the board and responsive to constituents' needs and concerns for a vote for Ted Gaines. There isn't too much on him, right? So, so there's not much to say. But he has said some things, and he also says we don't need a special legislation or investigation or study to tell us why California cancers are so high. Yeah, we know why, because of all this other crazy stuff that he does. So, we have Alex Padilla, and this man here is a questionable one. Now, there's, again, as I say, there's not much on these people. These people are kind of well hidden. But it does say Padilla Gilbert introduces a bi-macro bill to support LGBT businesses and protect against lending discrimination, which, again, to protect the LGBT businesses is fine and all. I don't actually have a problem against that at all. I think that should be done. But there's a task force which is kind of concerning to me, which I'm not quite sure I really want to deal with a task force of the LGBT plus community, because it could be used as a very negative experience. But I digress. This is good. This is at least good in the terms of actually, discrimination, because I don't think anybody should be really discriminated against. So yeah, there's not much on these people exactly. We could go into following Twitter here and kind of see on what he says. People of color, especially those who have audacity to be the first, are going to have to work twice as hard to get to have the respect. I don't think that's really the case here. I think that might be the case in maybe in democratic states or what have you that have that oppose your opinion. And he goes on to say, Republicans have made it clear that they don't think women should have the freedom to control their own bodies. Democrats will continue fighting to ensure that women across the country have access to safe and legal abortion services, which, again, I don't really agree with. So, I think there should be a few exceptions for abortion, obviously, but for most cases, I don't think women should really have the ability to do so because, again, you're killing a child. And also, the men don't have the right to say much of anything on that sense anyways. So we'll go on to the next guy here, is that we have Max Simonenko, I think that's his name here, and Max Simonenko was a successful business owner, father, and husband, and what have you. So, I don't really care too much about them. What I want is the issues, and we're going to go directly into the issues, and it says he's going to revive the economy, defend the Second Amendment, reform our immigration system to be fair and safe, and loosen big pharma's grip on our healthcare system. That is that's the thing. He lists the actual issues that I like here. So the defend the Second Amendment is pretty huge, and that's what I will enjoy. Now there's not too much on this man, and there is the Doris. Great old Doris here, and again, not much to really see about her either, for the most part, which is unfortunate. These people have a lot of this stuff, and it's hard to just really get these people's stuff out into the open. Yeah, it's just so rough. The sixth district kind of explains the sixth district, but again, I don't really care on that stuff. So it says this is the issues that she says. The problems in California: economy and jobs, healthcare, flood protection, clean energy and climate, which means she most likely wants to get rid of fossil fuels and stuff like that. I'll go over it a little bit. As a member of the House Energy and Commerce Committee and co-chair of the House Sustainable Energy and Environment Coalition, Congresswoman Matsu has made a top priority to bring clean energy technology to Sacramento, transform the city into a global leader in the sector, and support many local initiatives on clean school buses and 100% clean energy by 2030. Which means, though, if you guys haven't learned it, there's a 2030 bill, which are rather one thing they want to do is eliminate all motor vehicles by 2030. That's essentially what their plan is. So, what have you? So there wasn't too much on this woman, I may believe. And this person was Doris. That was Cecilia is working for us. And again, I didn't find too much on this woman either. There doesn't seem too much to be really bad about her. Protect public health and safety, and then strengthen our public education system, and then protect our farmland, air, water, and open space. Again, all these are not bad in anything. It seems fund child care services for every child starting at birth. Increase technical education and job training programs. Invest in music and the arts as core components of public education. Make it college accessible and affordable for all. So yeah, I mean, there's not really too much here that I can really say that's negative about this woman, because there's not much here. The only thing that kind of drew red flags maybe was her being kind of like endorsed by Gavin Newsom, and her kind of retweeting Gavin Newsom stuff and all that other stuff that I seen that she was doing. But again, I didn't see too much as a Democratic woman. I didn't see too much of this person really being a negative influence in the state, or I would even say like even a non-positive. So I don't see too much with a problem with this Democratic person here. So I can't really. There's nothing really bad about her, honestly. But one thing that I did vote Brian over this girl here is because, again, she tells me exactly what she's going to do here. Works with state and local leaders to ensure healthcare providers in our district have the scarce healthcare resources they need. Push for reliable broadband service so crucial in times like these in all communities. Advocate for practices that both protect public health and allow for much needed economic recovery. What have you. The thing is, I think these people need to do debates so we can really see see who's the best choices here. So yeah, but what I want to say is that the biggest thing here that I see what Brian Pritchford did against, which is her opponent, obviously, is to she addresses the problems and he addresses solutions, and she doesn't really do a super well job of this. She says protect and strengthen, which I all agree on, but again, this is the one thing: 100% renewable energy market that uses all diverse energy production generation technologies available, preserve the unique natural beauty of our district and the state, protect the Delta and Northern California water resources, which I think is good. I think that should be done, but again, if we go into California Insiders, there's a lot of other issues that I don't think is being done. This man right here, Brian Pritchford, as I said, California was a place people want to make better life for themselves while enjoying one of the best environments in the world. Today, more people are leaving than coming to our state because elected officials, including my opponent, may have only been listening to radicals and special interest groups, which his opponent is obviously Cecilia. And by the way, all these things are pretty much listed. So if it's a Democratic person, it's going to go directly to the next person that is going to be their opponent. I did that easily so you guys can kind of connect dots here on who is the opponent and who is not. Affordable ability, climate, education, these are the problems. Affordability, climate, education, efficiency, partisanship, out-of-control wildfires, no water storage tanks built since 1953, which, again, she said she was supposed to do this, and she has not put anything here to add any benefit to this. And last reservoirs built in the 1970s, which, again, she was supposed to do something for this, and she hasn't done this. Because she's currently in power right now, I may believe. If she's not, then I apologize. I apologize. So if she's not in power, if she's not in power, obviously, and has not done this, then not really her fault. But if she is in power and she hasn't really done this, then that's a problem. And that's the biggest issue. Is the fact I think again, as I said, she was endorsed by Gavin Newsom. So if she is by that case, if she is in power, then she hasn't done this. That's a huge problem, and she really needs to do it because California does have a problem with the water issue. We really do. California has the 48th ranked regulatory environment for business. California business is expensive to operate, not enough to return for tax dollars. Homeless situation is a scandal, and state government is a bureaucratic disaster. I would 100% agree with all of that. And he goes on to the solutions. He says, develop effective mental health programs, support law enforcement with funding and legislation, cut unnecessary regulations and prescribe burns, incentivize business to operate in California, and work for less regulation in the daily life of citizens. So yeah, I would agree with that. All is good. Now, there's not much on Goodwin Leo or what? Oh, I can't pronounce his last name either. So kind of rough to really say the least. Leo is socially reliable. He was written in favor of affirmative action, abortion rights, and same-sex marriage, and has been critical of Bush-era waterboarding policy and the death penalty. In 2008 article for the Stanford Law Review, Leo advocated a constitutional right to receive welfare. So yeah, I'm not all for that at all. So that's kind of all I needed to really kind of know about him. Sorry, I need water, people. Man needs to thrive. Now this is Atlantic Kilmat. We're just gonna call him Atlantic, all right? It's easier. So he says the issues are public education, economic growth, climate justice, and fight for equality. Which I'm not quite so sure that the equality thing here is what I would stand for as good. And I don't know about the climate justice. I would say the public education system is a massive problem that we have in California. This needs to be done. Eleni has fought against proposed tuition increases for UC and CSU. Students generated 30,000 new beds to public colleges to address the student housing shortage. That's good, but I think there needs to be more than that. There needs to be more than just that. I think there's a lot more issues that are happening in the public education system than that. Eleni is advocated for new laws protecting women from sexual harassment and is a vocal defender of women's rights to choose in California. Yeah, which again I don't agree with. Again, this is also for the governor, by the way. So these people are for like the governor, I believe. So yeah, I'm not quite so sure about these guys. But again, a bigger problem why this guy's property an issue. In September 2021, Lieutenant Governor Eleni Constantine established California's statewide Transgender Advisory Council. The Advisory Council convenes transgender activists and community leaders from across California to create an open space for dialogue and policy ideation with legislative and state leaders. Which is kind of an issue because, well, I mean, I regret. It's just I don't think the a council is good because anything that related to I would say the transgender council. Again, we're pushing this type of surgery and other issues into play, and I just don't really agree with it. Now, this is Shirley Weber, which, again, I'm not quite sure. There's not much on this woman either. The priorities is that she is committed to making California the national leader in running inclusive, trustworthy, and transparent elections, expanding the franchise to more of our citizens, ensuring election security, and empowering voters to make informed decisions. This work is more important than ever amidst a national reckoning about the future of voting rights in America, as well as the continued prominence of the big lie about the 2020 presidential election. California has an opportunity to lead the way. Dr. Weber, a daughter of the Jim Crow South, will never back down from defending the right to vote for Californians, and will stand with the other national voting leaders to ensure America, blah, 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 blah. So, you know, you kind of get it. So those are her priorities. And that's pretty much it. There's not much here, and I just don't know what she does. So she says she's going to be running inclusive. I don't like the word inclusive anymore, honestly. It just seems kind of bad. But we have Ron Bernowski here. Is why I'm running and what I tend to do. So let's do what he tends to do. I don't really care why he's running. What I do care for is what he tends to do. As a candidate for Secretary of State, I am committed to fair and transparent elections, restoring confidence in our election, ultimately increasing our voter turnout, cleaning California's voter rolls, modernizing voting technology that is safe and secure to protect every ballot cast, inspiring civic engagement, finding new and innovative ways to register Californians, eliminating methods like motor voter, opposing efforts to taxpayer-funded campaigns, and creating an environment of opportunity and learning so vulnerable communities that have convenience of voting like other communities. So, that's what he tends to do. I'm not quite sure if Bernowski is Republican or not, to be honest with you. I'm going to find that out right now. Okay, yeah, he is a Republican. So, yeah. Again, I would have voted for either Shirley or Rob Bernowski, and the only reason why I chose Rob because I got more what he intended to do. Like, he gave me more of a layout of what he was going to do. This person gave me her priorities, but it wasn't much. This kind of gives me what they intend to do more drawn out, and she didn't do much for that. So I didn't vote for that specific reason. Again, I don't find this person necessarily good or bad just because of the mere fact that there's not much about her that says, oh, she's this type of bad person. Now, guys, obviously that the people that I review, both Republican or Democrat, if you guys end up finding stuff that shows them to be not good people or whatever, then please let me know and put down in the comments, DM me or whatever, so that you can correct me. I don't have no problem being corrected. So far, I'm just not finding any information about these people. A lot of this stuff is really it's just hidden. All right, so this is Tony Thurmond. We have providing the resources to California students help students recover from learning loss and gaps, ensuring California students thrive, and transforming California schools. So that's kind of what he's doing here. I believe he may be Democrat. I think it switches because it goes from Republican and then it goes to Democrat. So I try to avoid that issue. Let me try to find out on this actual thing here. Now, granted, guys, there are justices and stuff like that, but the thing is, the justices are kind of like whatever. It's really hard to find out what they are. Majority of them are Democratic anyways. So, some of them I voted yes for, some of them I didn't vote for yes for. And those were the ones that were more outspoken to their political views that I could actually judge. If they don't tell me their political views or kind of like their ideas or how they're going to fix things, then I'm not going to have either way to vote for. And by the way, I think most judges should be apolitical anyways. I don't think you should be political at all. Yeah, so there wasn't much information on this man here. And we have here with Lancet Solutions, again, I think Lance's solutions may be a bit better than his. Personally, upon assuming office as California State Superintendent of Public Instruction, I will immediately suspend any curriculum frameworks currently in the process of being reviewed. This is for schools, by the way, guys. This is for schools. I will reopen the public review and comment period of any curriculum framework not fully adopted, and ask for a broader cross section of parents to offer feedback on the proposals. Direct staff to perform kids' first audit. Solution number 3: reclassify an existing executive advisor with the superintendent's office as a chief parent advocate and charge them with being the principal liaison on issues and concerns to the public office by parents. And again, I don't know who was better. I just voted for this guy. I don't know whether he's Republican or Democratic at all. I'm not quite sure who he is. I just thought his stuff was a little bit better than the other guys, so I voted for him. Again, I don't think so. I wanted to keep. I was actually going to think on some of the school stuff as well. I was going to keep things blank because of the mere fact that I just didn't agree with any of their policies on how they were going to fix things. So, yeah. Now, we have Christy Barnes here, which is obviously a Democrat. She says, yes, I'm from Texas, which you move over here, obviously. And this is the person that was, stuff like that, posting about, I may believe, I forgot his name, Bernie Sanders. Yeah, here we are. She's the one that been retweeted Bernie Sanders and all this stuff. She doesn't seem she's very active on social media. So, due to that, I just didn't want her to I didn't really support her all that much. And she kind of looks the part. It's messed up to really say that, to be honest with you. But again, she's passionate about health and wellness and helping people achieve their best quality of life at any stage, which, again, when it comes down to health, I'm concerned when she starts voting for people like that or retweeting people like that, that she goes on to one side. Again, she's a Democrat, so I don't know. I just don't know, right? I just don't know enough about her, but these are part of the reasons why. It's like you're really just fighting over who's doing what here. And she's going, and this is Coffee, Virginia Coffee. Now, if you guys do look up Virginia Coffee, you may see that someone with she, hers, what have you, in their name and bio. But again, I didn't see too much on her, to be honest, in that terms, and I can't confirm because it seems as a flower, and that wasn't saying anything that she was from Sacramento or what have you. So, again, I can't really pinpoint that down because there's not much to really say about it. So she goes through her concerns and stuff like that. If this thing will actually start working, we may actually get somewhere. And again, it's hard to really judge this woman at all, or any of these people, because it's kind of tough. From insufficient school-based buses and drivers to the challenges we face as working-class parents, it can be tough to be involved as even on time. For our children's future, that's why we need to make sure all parents, no matter the time commitment, cultural, or religious backgrounds, or socioeconomic status, can feel safe with our children's future. Education is the key, and our children's future is the ultimate goal. A part of this means that we have to recognize a hard fact. Past open door policies simply aren't enough. We can't have a school board that sits in their offices waiting for parents to approach them. We need to be proactive school board who will meet us halfway, who will make sure that no matter how many jobs we hold or how long our work with shifts are, they work twice as hard to seek out our input, what have you. Also means to making sure all our children can make it to school on time and without putting extra burdens on our already overworked community. That means we need enough buses, enough bus drivers, and enough bus routes. Another part of this means that we can have school board wait waits for fires to get out of control before they seek solutions. We need a school board that prevents wildfires and work tirelessly to resolve potential obstacles to our children's future. Okay. Now we have integration and separation. So yeah, I'm gonna remove a lot of these, by the way, because it is just so much stuff. So yeah. Long video, guys. Long video. While the board has made some changes recently to create centers to provide specialized resources to students of differing religious, cultural, ethnic, and racial neurodiverse needs, we have to acknowledge an uncomfortable truth. As Brown v. Board of prove, separate cannot be equal. It's important that we provide for everyone's needs, but it's also important that we allow children of different backgrounds to socialize together and build the bonds with strengthen the richness of West Sacramento's diversity. This is a concern very near and dear to my heart. So, and what have. He had a very difficult time adjusting to the social and cultural aspects of high school, and as such, I believe that prioritizing a hybrid model which allows for children to spend time working together and getting to know each other is a compromise that will build the strongest community bonds we can have. She's talking about her nephews, by the way, just to let you guys know. So, finally, we have equipped for success. From insufficient school buses and drivers to challenges we face as working close class parents, my God. It can be tough to be as involved or even on time for our children's future. That's why we need to make sure all parents, no matter the kind, commitment, cultural or religious backgrounds or socioeconomic status, can feel safe with our children's future. Education is the key, and our children's future is the ultimate goal. It starts with making sure all our children can make school on time and without putting extra burdens on an already overworked community. That means we need enough buses, enough bus drivers, enough bus routes, and I think this is already kind of explained to us as well, so what have you. Now we list the final person. This is Justice Laurie, and she makes history by the Third District Court of Appeal. What have you. The big thing here, as what I'm going to read, is that the January 6th. She's also one of those type of people, and what have you. So this is kind of like my bigger issue with this. January 6, 2021, rioters broke through the glass doors to gain access to our nation's capital. January 6, 2022, Laurie M. L. broke through the glass ceiling to gain access to the California Court of Appeal. Earl Sung wrote about the historic moment, drawing a parallel between his mother's achievement and the events of the previous year. And her first public remarks on an appellate judge, as she spoke about her pride in being herself, she also spoke about how those aspects of her identity have been informed and guided her work as a jurist. I accept my role in history as being first, and I'm honored to claim January 6th not as that day, but as my day, she said. Today of all days, January 6th is now a day that needs to make room for the pride and honor I feel in being here today. I'm proud of who I am. I'm proud of who I am as formed and guided as jurist, she added. I am a woman. I am a wife. I am a mother. I am a daughter, a sister, a friend. I am a lawyer. I am a criminal defense attorney. I am a prosecutor, a teacher, a student, and a trial judge. And yes, I am a lesbian. Which, that shouldn't matter or matter at all. I don't care whether you're a lesbian or not. I just care if you get the job done or not. Plain and simple. Each part of the two I has given me perspective on the bench, and more importantly has given me what I consider the most important attributes a judge should have: humility and the ability to always remember where you came from, she concluded. The nomination of Justice Laurie to appeal court is a victory for all LGBTQ+ women. With this new role, she continues breaking barriers in pursuit of equal rights and justice for people who come before her court. Earl's appointment is a symbol of progress and inclusion in the face of diversity. Her achievement is a reminder that progress is always possible. As an LGBTQ+ woman, Earl knows firsthand the importance of fighting for equality. She has spent her career fighting for the rights for others. She will continue to do so as a member of the appellate court, and what have you. So, guys, that is it. That is for everybody. I knew this video was going to be very, very long because, well, I had to go through a whole list of people. And so we did. And for what I have to say, some of them don't seem too bad. Some of them seem very bad. Very, very bad. And that's the reason why we don't vote for them and try to vote differently. But again, there's reasons why California is going to the shithole, and I think some of these people are actually not doing what they're supposed to be doing. Some of them are actually just getting into it. Others are not just getting into it, and I think there's a huge issue here in California where they're either not doing their job or they're insanely corrupt. And I think it's best to stay informed, and I even have to apologize that I'm not informed on some of the things here as well, which I will have to do research on at a later date. Alright, guys. Without making this video any longer than it is, Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, share, and as always, take care.